Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy.
Tim feels nervous as he steps into his mother's room, a place filled with her scent of lavender. He knows she's not there and remembers her usual schedule. This is a rare moment for him to enjoy the quiet he wants. In the closet, a splash of color catches his eye. He sees a beautiful silk dress, its dark blue color shining softly in the light. He takes it off the hanger, feeling the smooth fabric. His heart races as he places it on the bed, then goes back to the closet for the matching navy pumps with a small 2-inch heel. "Just this once," he whispered to the empty room, though he knew that was a lie. This marked the 5th time he'd done this, each instance more thrilling than the last. He stripped down to his boxers, then paused at the dresser. The bottom drawer held what he needed: pantyhose still in their package, a padded bra he'd bought online, and hidden here weeks ago. His mother never used this drawer anymore. The transformation began slowly. First the pantyhose, rolling them up his legs with practiced care to avoid runs. Then the bra, adjusting the padding until it looked natural. The dress came next, sliding over his head in a whisper of silk. He zipped it up the side, marveling at how it hugged his slim frame. At his mother's vanity, he studied his reflection. His face looked too masculine still. He reached for the makeup bag, applying foundation with light strokes. Mascara next, then lipstick, a coral shade that complemented the dress. The auburn wig waited in his backpack, hidden in his room until today. He'd saved for months to buy it, choosing a shoulder-length style that framed his face perfectly. The final touch, his mother's pearl necklace and matching earrings. Clip-ons, thankfully. Tim stood before the full-length mirror, hardly recognizing himself. The navy dress hit just above his knees, the heels adding elegant height to his frame. The auburn hair caught the light, looking almost natural against his fair skin. "Perfect," he breathed, turning to admire the side view. The front door slammed. Ice flooded his veins. His mother wasn't due home for hours. Footsteps on the stairs, heavy, definitely not his mother's light tread. "Tim? You up here, man?" Steve. His best friend had a key for emergencies. This definitely qualified as an emergency, though not the kind Steve expected. Tim froze, calculating his options. The bathroom? Too far. His room? Steve would check there first. The closet? Too cliché, and Steve knew all his hiding spots from years of friendship. The bedroom door opened. "Hey, your mom asked me to grab her." Steve stopped mid-sentence. His jaw dropped, eyes widening as he took in the scene. Tim stood frozen by the mirror, hands clutched at his sides, the navy dress suddenly feeling like a spotlight. "Holy shit!" "Steve, I can explain, dude." Steve closed the door behind him, leaning against it. "Is that your mom's dress?" Heat flooded Tim's face. The careful makeup job probably hid the worst of the blush, but he felt exposed, vulnerable in ways that had nothing to do with clothing. "Please don't tell anyone." Steve moved closer, circling Tim with an expression somewhere between shock and curiosity. "How long have you been doing this?" "A few months." The lie came easily. Years was more accurate, but Steve didn't need to know everything. "You look..." Steve paused, searching for words. "Different. Good different. Like, if I didn't know you, I'd think you were just some girl." Tim's heart skipped. "Really?" "Yeah, man, I mean..." Steve gestured vaguely. "The hair, the dress, everything. You've got the whole look down." "The auburn wig was expensive," Tim admitted, touching the soft strands. "But it feels real, doesn't it?" Steve reached out, then pulled back. "Can I?" Tim nodded. Steve's fingers brushed through the wig, gentle and exploratory. "Feels like actual hair. Where'd you even buy this?" "Online? Special store for... people like me. People like you." Steve stepped back, studying Tim with new eyes. "So this is a regular thing?" "Sometimes, when I'm alone." Tim smoothed the navy dress, a nervous gesture. "You won't tell anyone?" "Course not." Steve dropped onto the bed, processing. "But why? I mean, what's the appeal?" Tim turned back to the mirror, adjusting the pearl necklace. "I don't know how to explain it.
When I put on the dress, the makeup, everything, I feel different. Free. Like I'm discovering parts of myself I didn't know existed. And you picked your mom's stuff? It was available. Tim shrugged, the gesture oddly feminine in the dress. Started with Halloween costumes as a kid, borrowed my cousin's princess outfit once. Then it just grew from there. Steve leaned forward, elbows on knees. You ever go out like this? God, no, too risky. But you want to? The question hung between them. Tim's reflection stared back, auburn hair framing a face that looked softer, more delicate with makeup. Sometimes I think about it, walking through the mall, shopping for clothes that actually fit me instead of stealing my mom's. But someone might recognize me. Not looking like that, they wouldn't. Steve stood, moving beside Tim at the mirror. Look at us. If I didn't know, I'd think I was standing next to my girlfriend or something. Tim's breath caught. You really think I pass? 100%. The navy dress is perfect on you. Brings out your eyes. They stood in silence, processing this shift in their friendship. Steve had caught Tim in his most vulnerable moment, yet instead of mockery or disgust, he offered acceptance. I have an idea, Steve said suddenly. What kind of idea? You said you want to go out, but you're scared of being recognized. What if we practiced here first, like rehearsal for the real thing? Tim turned, the heels making the movement graceful. Practice how? Role play. I'll pretend to be someone else. Your mom, a store clerk, whatever. You practice being her, whoever she is when you dress up. That's... Tim paused, considering. Actually not terrible, right? And if you freak out or whatever, we're safe at home. Steve grinned. Plus, I'm curious, when you're dressed up, are you still Tim or someone else? The question Tim had asked himself countless times. Someone else. When I look like this, I'm Tina. Tina. Steve tested the name. Okay, Tina. Nice to meet you. I'm Steve, your mom's friend from book club. Tim. Tina laughed, the sound higher, more musical. Book club doesn't meet here. Today it does. Special occasion. Steve affected a deeper voice, attempting to sound parental. Now, young lady, what are you doing in my bedroom? The game began. Tina played along, crafting a story about borrowing the navy dress for a date. Steve improvised responses, pretending shock at finding a stranger in his bedroom. They fell into the scenario, each finding their rhythm. You can't just take people's clothes, Steve's mom scolded. I'm sorry, Tina replied, hands clasped in front of the dress. I didn't have anything nice to wear, and your dress is so beautiful. Well, I suppose... Wait. Steve broke character. This is weird, right? Me pretending to be your mom while you're literally wearing her dress? Tina giggled. Extremely weird, but fun? Yeah, actually. Steve resumed his pose. Okay, different scenario. I'm a sales clerk at the mall. You're shopping for a new outfit. They reset. Tina browsed imaginary racks while Steve described various clothing options. The navy dress swished as she moved, the heels clicking on hardwood. Everything felt more real with an audience, even an audience of one. This red blouse would complement your hair, Steve offered, holding up nothing but air. My auburn hair does go with red, Tina agreed, touching the wig. But I prefer blue tones, like this dress. Excellent choice. Very sophisticated. They continued for an hour, cycling through scenarios. Restaurant hostess and customer, librarian and student. Each role play built Tina's confidence, her movements becoming more natural, voice finding its feminine register. You're good at this, Steve observed during a break. Practice, Tina admitted, adjusting the pearl earrings. Lots of time in front of mirrors. No, I mean the whole thing, the walk, the voice, how you sit with your legs crossed. It's like you become someone completely different. Tina smoothed the navy dress over her thighs. That's the point. When I'm Tim, I'm expected to be one thing, but as Tina, you're free. Exactly. Steve checked his phone. Shit, it's almost 4. Your mom... Book club until 5. Tina relaxed. We have time. Want to do one more? Something challenging? Like what? Steve's grin turned mischievous. What if someone caught you, like, for real, not playing dress up, but out in the world as Tina? A shiver ran through her. Fear mixed with something else. Excitement? That's my nightmare. Or your fantasy. Steve watched her reaction. Come on, I saw your face. Part of you wants to get caught. Tina turned away, but the mirror reflected truth. The navy dress, the auburn wig, the careful makeup, all chosen for maximum impact. Not just to pass, but to be seen. Maybe a little. Thought so? Okay, here's the scene. You're at the grocery store. I'm your neighbor, Mr. Henderson. I've known Tim since he was 5. But I bump into Tina. The riskiest scenario yet. Tina's pulse quickened as Steve positioned himself across the room. Excuse me, miss. Steve bumped her shoulder gently. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, do I know you? Tina's throat tightened. This felt too real. I don't think so. You look familiar. Are you related to the Mitchells? You have the same hair color as their boy. No, Tina managed, voice steady despite inner panic. I'm just passing through town. Funny, you remind me of someone. Steve circled her, playing suspicious neighbor perfectly. Same height, same build. If I didn't know better, I'd say you were Tim Mitchell in a dress. The accusation hung heavy. Tina's hands trembled, clutching an imaginary shopping basket. That's ridiculous. Is it? Steve moved closer. Tim, is that you? The moment stretched. Tina felt exposed, vulnerable, caught. But underneath the fear, a thrill sparked. This was what she'd imagined late at night, the moment of discovery, of being seen as both Tim and Tina simultaneously. Yes, she whispered. Steve broke character immediately. Whoa, you okay? You're shaking. Tina sat heavily on the bed, navy dress pooling around her. That was intense. Too much? No, it was... She searched for words. Exactly what I wanted. The fear, the excitement of almost being caught. Of being caught. Steve sat beside her. You like the danger. I think so. Tina smoothed the dress again, a self-soothing gesture. When I'm alone, dressed up, it feels safe but incomplete. Like I'm performing without an audience. And when someone catches you, then it's real. I'm not just playing dress up in my mom's room. I'm Tina, out in the world, even if the world is just you. They sat in comfortable silence. The rain had stopped, afternoon sun breaking through clouds to cast golden light across the room. Tina's auburn hair glowed in the beam. Thanks, she said eventually. For what? Not freaking out, not laughing, just accepting this. Steve bumped her shoulder. You're still my best friend, just with better fashion sense now. Tina laughed. This dress is pretty amazing. Navy's definitely your color, though... Steve paused. Can I ask something personal? More personal than this? Fair point. He gestured at her overall appearance. Is this just about clothes, or is it... more? The question Tina had been avoiding. I don't know yet. Right now, I just know I like how this feels. Being Tina, maybe it's temporary, maybe not. But when you're dressed up, you're her? Not Tim playing pretend? I'm her? The certainty surprised them both. When I put on the dress, the wig, everything, I'm Tina. She's not a costume, she's me. Steve nodded slowly. Okay, so what does Tina want? To exist outside this room. The words tumbled out. To shop for her own clothes instead of borrowing. To walk through town without fear. To be seen and accepted, not hidden. So let's do it. What? Not today, Steve clarified. But soon. We'll plan it out. Start small, maybe drive to another town where nobody knows us. You can be Tina, I'll be your friend Steve. No hiding. Hope bloomed in Tina's chest. You'd do that? Why not? Friends support each other. He grinned. Plus, I'm curious to see Tina in action outside these 4 walls. A car door slammed outside. Both froze. That's not... Book club ended early, Tina breathed. Mom's home. Panic mode engaged. Tina kicked off the heels, grabbing for the zipper on the dress. Steve collected the shoes,
tossing them toward the closet. The wig. Leave it, Steve decided. No time. Just run. Footsteps on the porch. Keys in the lock. Tina bolted for her room, navy dress still zipped, auburn wig streaming behind her. Steve followed, closing doors silently in their wake. They dove into Tim's room just as the front door opened. "Tim, you home?" "Yeah, Mom," Tim called, voice cracking. "Steve's here too." "Hi, Mrs. Mitchell," Steve added, too loud, too cheerful. "I'm making dinner. You boys hungry?" "Starving," Steve replied, while Tim frantically unzipped the dress. They waited until footsteps retreated to the kitchen before moving. Tim shed the navy dress, tossing it to Steve, who bundled it with the shoes. The wig came off next, auburn strands catching on the pearl earrings. "Makeup," Steve hissed. Tim grabbed tissues, scrubbing at his face. Foundation smeared, lipstick smudged. He looked like a disaster, but a disaster in boys' clothes was better than the alternative. "Hide this stuff," Tim instructed, pulling on jeans and a t-shirt. "I'll wash my face properly." He slipped down the hall to the bathroom, Steve standing guard. Cold water and soap erased Tina's face, leaving Tim staring at his reflection. Same features, but they looked different now, like he could see Tina underneath, waiting. Back in his room, Steve had stashed everything under the bed. Close call. Too close. Tim collapsed in his desk chair. "Thanks for the save." "That's what friends do." Steve studied him. "You okay?" "Must be hard switching back so fast." Tim touched his bare neck where the pearls had been. "It's like taking off my real skin and putting on a costume." "The boy clothes are the costume?" "Starting to feel that way." Steve sat on the bed, processing this revelation. "So what now? Keep hiding?" "For now." Tim glanced at the closet where his backpack held the auburn wig. "But maybe not forever. What you said about going somewhere together. Offer stands, whenever you're ready." "Tim? Steve? Dinner." They headed downstairs, slipping into their roles as typical teenage boys. Tim's mother had made spaghetti, chattering about book club drama while serving plates. "Mrs. Henderson swears she saw someone in my bedroom window earlier," she mentioned casually. "Probably just the light playing tricks." Tim nearly choked on his water. Steve kicked him under the table. "Weird," Steve managed. "We've been in Tim's room all afternoon, didn't see anything." "Must have been a reflection." She waved it off. "How was your day, boys?" They exchanged loaded glances. "Educational," Tim said finally. "Very," Steve agreed. Dinner continued with normal conversation. Plans for the weekend, upcoming tests, standard parent-child dialogue. But underneath, everything had shifted. Tim caught Steve watching him, seeing Tina even in boys' clothes. The secret sat between them, not a wall, but a bridge. After dinner, they helped clear dishes. Tim's mother hugged him goodnight before heading upstairs with a book. "That was close," Steve murmured once she was gone. "Mrs. Henderson definitely saw me in the window." Tim dried plates mechanically. "The navy dress is pretty distinctive. She won't say anything, probably thinks she imagined it." "Maybe." They finished in silence, each lost in thought. The kitchen clean, they returned to Tim's room. Steve pulled the hidden bundle from under the bed. "We should return these before she notices." "Tomorrow," Tim decided, "when she's at work." Steve held up the navy dress, studying it. "This really does look good on you." "On Tina." "Right, Tina." He folded the dress carefully. "Can I ask, when did you know that you weren't just playing dress-up?" Tim sat at his desk, spinning slowly in the chair. "Remember Halloween 3 years ago when I dressed as a witch? You won Best Costume. Because I didn't want to take it off." Tim smiled at the memory. "Everyone thought I was just committed to winning, but really I loved how the black dress felt, how the long black wig transformed me. When I had to change back into regular clothes, I actually cried." "I thought you were just tired from the party." "I was mourning." Tim stopped spinning. "That's when I knew this was more than a game." Steve absorbed this. "And the auburn wig?" "Bought it 6 months ago. Black felt too costumey. Auburn feels right. Natural, like the hair I should have been born with." "Does your mom know about any of this?" "God, no." Tim shuddered. "She's not ready for that conversation.
But you'll have to tell her eventually if Tina's going to exist outside this room. One step at a time. Tim pulled his knees up, a defensive gesture. First, I need to figure out who Tina really is, not just stolen clothes and secret dress-up sessions. Hence our field trip idea. Exactly. Steve stood, stretching. I should head home. But Tim? Tina? Whoever you are right now, I'm glad you trusted me with this. You literally caught me red-handed. Or navy-dressed, technically. I could have run, could have pretended I didn't see anything. Steve squeezed Tim's shoulder. But I'm glad I didn't. She's pretty cool, your Tina side. Warmth spread through Tim's chest. Thanks for everything today. Thank me when we actually get you out of this house in that auburn wig. After Steve left, Tim sat alone in his room. The hidden clothes called to him, but the risk was too high with his mother home. Instead, he pulled out his phone, scrolling through websites he'd bookmarked. Dresses, shoes, makeup tutorials, planning for when Tina could shop for herself. A text from Steve. Thinking about our field trip. There's an outlet mall 2 towns over. Nobody we know shops there. Tim's fingers flew over the keyboard. When? Next Saturday? Your mom has that conference. A whole day. Freedom to be Tina without watching the clock or jumping at every sound. Tim's heart raced at the possibility. Yes, he typed. Then, after a pause, thank you for not thinking I'm weird. You're not weird, you're just you. See you tomorrow. Tim set the phone aside, mind spinning with plans. What would Tina wear for her first real outing? The navy dress was his mother's, off limits for public appearance. He'd need something of his own, something that fit Tina's emerging style. He grabbed a notebook, sketching outfit ideas. A sundress maybe, something floral and feminine. Sandals instead of heels, more practical for walking through malls. The auburn wig styled differently, maybe with clips or a headband. The sketch became more detailed. Tina took shape on paper, no longer just borrowed clothes, but a full person with her own taste and preferences. Tim lost himself in the creation, designing the girl he was becoming. A soft knock interrupted. His mother peered in. Still up? Tim flipped the notebook closed. Just drawing. She entered, sitting on his bed. Steve seemed different at dinner. Did you boys fight? No, nothing like that. Tim chose words carefully. We just talked about some personal stuff today. Growing up stuff? Something like that. She smiled, ruffling his hair. You're lucky to have a friend like him. Someone you can trust with secrets. If only she knew. Yeah, I am. Don't stay up too late. She kissed his forehead. Love you. Love you too, Mom. Alone again, Tim reopened the notebook. Tina stared back from the page, auburn hair perfectly styled, wearing a sundress that existed only in imagination. For now. He added details, a necklace, simple silver rather than his mother's pearls, bracelet to match, painted nails in soft pink. Each addition made her more real, more separate from borrowed identity. His phone buzzed. Steve had sent a link to the outlet mall's website. They have a dress barn, perfect for Tina's debut. Tim smiled, typing back, she can't wait. The week crawled by. Tim attended classes, completed homework, maintained his normal routine. But underneath, Tina grew stronger. He practiced voices in the shower, walked in borrowed heels when home alone, experimented with makeup techniques found online. Steve helped, stopping by after school to offer feedback and encouragement. They rehearsed scenarios, ordering coffee, trying on clothes, handling unexpected encounters. Each session built confidence. You're getting good at this, Steve observed Thursday afternoon. Tim wore his own clothes, but moved with Tina's grace. Feels more natural every day. Tim, even dressed as a boy, the movements belong to Tina now. Like I'm finally syncing up with who I'm supposed to be. And Saturday? I'm ready. A pause. Scared but ready. Good scared or bad scared? Tim considered. Both, but more excited than afraid. That's the spirit. Steve pulled out his phone, showing a map. I figured we'd leave early, get breakfast somewhere as ourselves. Then you can change at the mall bathroom. You've really thought this through. Someone has to be the practical one. Steve grinned. "You're too busy dreaming about sundresses." "Not just sundresses," Tim protested. "Also skirts, blouses, maybe a cardigan. God, you really are becoming a girl." The words hung between them, heavier than Steve intended. "Is that okay?" Tim asked quietly. "More than okay." Steve's voice carried certainty. "Whatever makes you happy, I support. Even if that means my best friend becomes my best girlfriend." Tim's eyes welled. "You mean that?" "Course I do. Tina, Tim, whatever. You're still you. Just more you, if that makes sense." "It does." Tim wiped his eyes. "God, even my emotions are more feminine lately." "Nothing wrong with that. Guys should cry more anyway." They laughed, tension breaking. Plans resumed. What to pack, which stores to visit, how to handle various situations. By the time Steve left, they had everything mapped out. Friday dragged worse than the rest of the week. Tim's mother reminded him about her conference, leaving cash for food and emergency numbers he'd never need. She seemed distracted, focused on her presentation, which suited Tim perfectly. That night, he packed carefully. The auburn wig in its special box, makeup in a small bag, the padded bra, pantyhose, panties he'd ordered online, everything Tina needed except the clothes she'd buy tomorrow. Sleep came fitfully. Dreams mixed Tim and Tina, masculine and feminine, fear and excitement. He woke early, shower washing away nervous sweat. Steve arrived at 8 sharp, grinning at Tim's barely contained energy. "Ready for your big day?" "Beyond ready." Tim grabbed his backpack, heavier than usual with Tina's things. "Let's go." The drive took 40 minutes. They stopped for breakfast at a diner, Tim too nervous to eat much. Steve kept up steady chatter, distracting from building anxiety. "Remember, nobody knows us here. You're just another girl shopping on Saturday." "Right." Tim pushed eggs around his plate. "Just another girl. With great auburn hair." That earned a smile. "The wig really is perfect." "Everything's going to be perfect." Steve signaled for the check. "Trust me." The outlet mall sprawled before them, already busy with weekend shoppers. Tim's stomach churned as they parked. "Bathrooms in the food court," Steve noted. "Take your time. I'll grab us coffee." Tim nodded, clutching his backpack. The moment had arrived. The family bathroom offered privacy. Tim locked the door, setting his bag on the counter. Each item emerged like ritual objects: wig, makeup, undergarments. He'd practiced this routine dozens of times, but never with such purpose. Transformation began. Male clothes folded into the backpack. Panties, pantyhose, bra creating feminine silhouette. Makeup applied with steady hands despite inner trembling. The auburn wig last, crowning glory that completed the shift. Tim was gone. Tina stared back from the mirror, but something was missing. The clothes. She wore only undergarments and Tim's oversized t-shirt that hung like a dress, not exactly shopping attire. A knock at the door made her jump. "Tina, you okay in there?" Her voice cracked. She cleared her throat, finding the register. "I need clothes. Can't walk out like this." Muffled laughter. "Shit, didn't think of that. Hold on." Footsteps retreated. Tina waited, studying her reflection. Even in the unflattering bathroom light, she looked right. The auburn hair framed her face perfectly, makeup highlighting features that seemed softer, more delicate. Steve returned, knocking softly. "I grabbed something from the car. My sister left it last week." Tina cracked the door, accepting the bundle. A simple black skirt and white blouse, slightly wrinkled but clean. "Your sister won't mind?" "She has like 50 skirts, won't even notice." The clothes fit well enough. The skirt hit mid-thigh, shorter than Tina might have chosen, but workable. The blouse tucked in nicely, creating a neat silhouette. Not perfect, but enough to venture out. "Okay," she breathed. "I'm ready." "You sure?" "No, yes." Both simultaneously. Only one way to find out. The door opened. Tina stepped into the bustling food court, fluorescent lights suddenly spotlight bright. Steve waited with 2 coffees.
his expression shifting from concern to admiration. "Holy shit, you look amazing." "Really?" Tina smoothed the black skirt nervously. "Really, nobody would ever guess." He trailed off. "You're just a girl at the mall." They found a table, Tina hyper-aware of every movement. Crossing her legs, holding the coffee cup, each gesture felt magnified. But nobody stared. Nobody pointed. The world continued spinning. "How do you feel?" Steve asked. Terrified, exhilarated, like I might throw up or cry or both. "But good?" Tina considered, taking a careful sip of coffee. "Yeah, good. Like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be." "Then let's shop." They started small, an accessories store where Tina could browse without committing to trying anything on. She gravitated towards simple pieces, silver jewelry that complemented rather than overwhelmed. Steve offered opinions, playing the supportive friend role perfectly. "That bracelet's nice." "You think?" Tina held it up, admiring how it caught the light. "Definitely. Goes with everything." She bought it, hands shaking slightly as she handed over cash. The cashier smiled, complimented her auburn hair, completed the transaction without suspicion. First purchase as Tina, a silver bracelet that cost $12 but felt priceless. Confidence building, they moved to clothing stores. Dress barn as promised, racks of possibilities stretching before them. Tina touched fabrics, held items against herself, gradually relaxing into the experience. "Can I help you find anything?" A saleswoman appeared, middle-aged and smiling. Tina froze. This was different from the cashier. Extended interaction, potential questions. "My friend's looking for sundresses," Steve supplied smoothly. "Oh, perfect timing. We just got our spring collection." The woman led them deeper into the store. "What size, honey?" Tina had no idea. Male measurements didn't translate directly. "She's probably an 8, Steve guessed, earning a grateful look. "Let's start there and adjust." The saleswoman pulled options, holding them up for inspection. "This yellow would be stunning with your hair." "I prefer blues," Tina managed, voice steady. "Of course, can't go wrong with classic colors." They accumulated an armful, blue sundress with white flowers, solid navy that reminded her of the borrowed dress, a teal blouse that brought out her eyes. The saleswoman ushered them to fitting rooms. "Take your time, honey. Let me know if you need different sizes." Alone in the fitting room, Tina allowed herself a moment of celebration. She'd done it, walked through the mall, interacted with strangers, shopped like any other woman. The fear hadn't disappeared, but it no longer paralyzed. The blue floral sundress fit perfectly. She emerged to find Steve waiting, his whistle of appreciation entirely genuine. "That's the one." "You think?" Tina spun, dress flaring around her thighs. "Definitely. Very you." They continued through the mall, each store building confidence. Tina bought the sundress, a pair of sandals, basic makeup to replace Tim's borrowed stash. Steve carried bags without complaint, offering steady support. "Getting hungry?" he asked after 3 hours. "Starving." Shopping apparently worked up an appetite. They chose a quiet restaurant, Tina navigating the hostess station and menu with growing ease. Conversation flowed naturally, not role play, but genuine interaction between friends. "I keep forgetting," Steve admitted over salads. "Forgetting what?" "That you're, Tim. You're just Tina now, like this is who you've always been." Warmth bloomed in her chest. "That's how it feels, like I'm finally matching outside to inside." "So what happens Monday? Back to being Tim?" The question she'd been avoiding. "I don't know, this..." She gestured at herself, the sundress, the auburn hair. "Feels right. But the world isn't ready for Tina full-time. Maybe start small? Like be yourself with friends who'll understand? Besides you? I could talk to some people, feel them out." Steve stabbed a tomato. "Bet more would be cool with it than you think." Hope and terror mingled. Maybe. They finished lunch, venturing back into the mall. Tina felt different now, not just dressed as a woman, but living as one. Each interaction reinforced the rightness of this identity. "One more stop," Steve announced, steering toward a salon. What? The wig looks great, but what about styling it properly? Just a trim, maybe some layers? Tina touched the auburn strands. They can style wigs? Only one way to find out.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.